Hello, everyone. Well, how can we keep our brain engaged even when we start aging? That is the topic we are going to be talking with Dr. Paul, who is one of the leading neuroscientists, neuropsychologists. He's written a book. He's been a keynote speaker. So he is the expert who can guide us. How do we keep ourselves active? Welcome, Dr. Paul. Thank you so much for joining me. I know you're very busy.
Amita, thanks for having me. It's great to be here.
So let's just understand, Dr. Paul, why do we go into the cognitive decline to start with, and it happens as we age? What is the correlation?
Yeah, so as we do get older, we do suffer some changes in our ability to think and to remember and to utilize language and spatial skill, all the things that our wonderful brain lets us do. It need not mean disease. In the same way, we can't run as fast or lift as maybe as heavy weights, for example. We just don't think perhaps quite as efficiently, but most older individuals are doing just fine. Most individuals do age successfully, and they adapt to make the changes necessary to maintain a cognitively healthy life.
Okay, but let's say for what can we, in your opinion, when we are younger, and you follow a holistic and integrative approach, what is it that you're propagating that we should all do?
Yeah, so the first thing to understand is that the brain is the single greatest, most magnificent system ever designed in the history of this or any universe, right? It sits right between our skulls. It weighs about 3 pounds. It demands 25% of the blood and nutrition from every heartbeat, Amita. So that means by definition, we need to be mobile. We shouldn't be sedentary. Sedentary behavior is dangerous because it involves not only changes and negative changes to our body structure, but also to our brain and our cognitive functioning. We need to remain social because being social means that we're interacting with others, both on an emotional level and a cognitive level. We have to stay challenged. So two things I always tell people is to engage in the novel and the complex, new learning across the lifespan. Try to reduce stress. Stress is quite bad for the brain, particularly chronic stress. It can impact everything from our emotional health to our thinking health to increasing the risk for dementia. And then finally, we have to eat as healthy as we can, eating proper fats. Your brain is actually 60% fat. Most people don't know that. So trying to really keep up the robustness of that fat in the brain by eating foods such as healthy fish, like salmon and mackerel and tuna, and nuts and seeds and plants, and these kinds of foods are very, very good for our body and our brain.
Okay, so now that all of us have been living in COVID for the last 2 years, and we have not been social, to your point, and the psychological effects of COVID-19 to the new normal that all of us as a society are facing, how do we keep ourselves engaged, and what are your thoughts on that?
Well, my thoughts on that is that we're not talking enough about the mental health, cognitive health, social health issues related to COVID, because you're right, Amita, we have isolated, we have segregated, if you will. We're not meant to hibernate, okay, as a species. We're meant to be with one another. And you and I today are doing that, even though we're a bit far away from one another using technology, thank goodness, right? But there was a day in your life and in my life, we didn't have this kind of technology. And this is particularly vulnerable for the older adult who's a bit more frail and more prone to loneliness, though this occurs also with younger children. We know the rates of depression, with anxiety, with sleep disorder, with irritability, even suicidality, I'm sorry to say, has increased significantly with COVID. So we're trying our best, right? We're adjusting. We're paying attention to the protocols we need to follow to be healthy, but at the same time, we're being creative, I think, which is a good thing. And we're coming out of it. We're coming out of quote unquote lockdown. And there's some research now that indicates that really was never a very good policy to follow, meaning lockdown. So, following protocols to keep us healthy, while at the same time, I'd like to see the world pay more attention to the need for us to appreciate each other's faces, to be exposed to vitamin D with sunlight, to get outside, and to be with one another, because that's both not only cognitively health promoting, but also emotionally and psychologically health promoting.
Okay, yes. So let's talk a little bit about the seniors population who are on the verge of getting dementia or who have dementia. And I know you've worked a lot with the senior facilities. What are your recommendations? And this is not a medical advice. I just want to put a big disclaimer here. This is just a quick 10-minute session that we do on a daily basis. But just your thoughts on that, people who already have dementia.
Right. So in the United States of America, for example, we have roughly 5 point some million individuals with Alzheimer's. That's going to increase to about 15 million. And we're seeing the same kind of trajectories in terms of a steep incline in the rates of Alzheimer's, the leading cause of dementia, across the world. And one of the things I've tried to do, Amita, is to try to teach people that we can promote brain health from an earlier age, right? So rather than waiting until we get 65 plus, which is a vulnerable age range for dementia, we need to begin much earlier. And the things that you and I have talked about in the brain health lifestyle I promote for individuals who believe they're having cognitive decline, and they may be older. It's really important that you talk to your doctor, you get a neuropsychological examination, you get some blood drawn to rule out things such as a B12 deficiency or a thyroid problem, look at medication side effects, work with your doctor in the event that a dementia is diagnosed. And for everybody out there, dementia means a decline in intelligence. So it's a loss of intelligence, which includes memory problems, perhaps language difficulty, perhaps problems getting around spatially. Personality change can be possible, and there's a decline in one's ability to function, to carry out what we call basic activities of daily living, dressing, bathing, these kinds of things. There's 100 types of dementia most people don't know about. I mean, Alzheimer's is the #1 cause. So with your doctor, if for example, I was diagnosed with dementia, there are some medications that can be started to help kind of treat the symptoms of the dementia. There's planning that needs to take place with the family, both legal and financial. And the brain health lifestyle you and I have talked about here momentarily is still important, because even if a brain has dementia, and even if it's progressive, which most forms of dementia are, these kind of lifestyle, eating healthy, engaging in physical activity, staying social, reducing stress, and eating properly are still very, very important for that brain to maintain resilience, even in the face of dementia.
So you also have some kind of programs or courses that you offer either to the seniors or the elderly to keep their brain active. Like, should they be playing games with each other? I mean, just your feedback and thoughts on that. Like, we are all using computer games now, right? Going on the apps and
yeah. I think anything that, what I tell people is anything that's novel and complex, new and difficult for you, continue to do, because that stimulates an important part of the brain called the hippocampus, where we generate new brain cells. It's also where we learn new information. And it's the area vulnerable to dementia. So my brain health lifestyle, which can be found at my website, which is just brainhealthctr.com, has a lot of free information. And you'll see the colored icon there, the colored pie, the brain health pie. If you hit one of those slices of the pie, research activities come up that you can follow. And most of my work is really geared to the general public, trying to get folks to engage in basic day-to-day lifestyle behaviors to promote the health of the brain.
Okay. Anything else? This, like I said, this is a quick 10-minute session that we bring on a daily basis just to give holistic tips, and hope that by incorporating holistic lifestyle in your day-to-day activities can help you improve quality of life. Anything else you'd like to add, Dr. Paul? Like I said,
yeah, just that for everyone across the world, the human brain is where it begins and where it ends. We have not paid enough attention to it. It's a great paradox, but now we're learning more about it. We now are all empowered to shape our brain for health, to get started today with baby step changes, and lifestyle is still more important than genetics. Both are important, but lifestyle is still very important. So feel good about this 10 minutes today with Amita, and get started on making some baby step changes to building a brain healthy lifestyle for yourself.
Thank you so much for your time. I know you're very busy. To everyone, we crossed 200,000 followers on Facebook. I'm super excited and thankful for everyone for your continued support. Spend 10 minutes with us every day. That's all we ask. We're here to help you. With that, thank you. Thank you, Dr. Paul, for being with me. I
Thank
really
you, Mia.
appreciate it. Bye-bye.